So this is like a really exciting chapter. Like, so many crazy things happen in this one, especially in relation to Bakugo, but like in the best way. And I'm pretty sure you know what I'm getting at. We've been talking about it for the last couple weeks, and it seems like it's finally going to happen possibly, but not in the way that I guess most of us expected. I didn't see anybody talking about or speculating about the crazy turn of events that transpire in this chapter. But let's just get into it because there's so much to go over. The chapter begins with a flashback of the doctor explaining that the bullets Shigaraki stole from the Sakai were made based on a person's quirk, and that it kind of confirms the quirk's doomsday theory. He would then proceed with his researches to extract it. All of this was contained in a recording left along with his new mark, which All For One collected as soon as he left Tartarus. The next page shows him fully restored, saying Endeavor should feel proud that he made him use this risky card. Tokoyami realizes right away that it has something to do with Eri, and Hawks notices that he's going down to where the other heroes are, so he follows him, but he's not fast enough. All For One has stolen the clothes of one hero and the quirk of another. All For One says that using Rewind is his final play because his body will eventually disappear. But he's not bothered by this because the baton has already been passed to Shigaraki. What he has to do is finish off as many heroes as possible. Hey, also guys, if you like my Hero content, please subscribe if you haven't already. It's fine if you don't want to, but if you just need a reminder, here you go. Thanks. Alright, so this chapter is already starting off with a bang here. Finally getting confirmation on exactly what's going on with him, and for the most part it's cut and dry. Like, we knew that this was kind of like the only option here, right? I mean, we kind of just put two and two together, figured, oh, Yujiko was given the quirk destroying bullets by Shigaraki, and he like reverse engineered them and was able to get Rewind out of it. But considering what All For One said at the end of chapter 357 about how it being like his last resort or whatever, it does appear that it's not like a perfect stable version of Rewind, and that apparently he is going to eventually disappear. So I guess this means that he's just going to rewind into nothing, kind of like what Eri accidentally did to her dad. So he's on a time limit here, and we're seeing like All For One like fully here, and he's like jacked. I mean, we kind of knew he was jacked because like when his clothes kind of got ripped in his fight against All Might, you know, we kind of saw that, oh, he's kind of jacked himself, but like he's, you know, rivaling All Might in his jackness. And also All For One is like almost as tall as All Might, so yeah, he's like a specimen for sure. But I also don't think this means that he can like use Eri's quirk on someone else, or at least I'm pretty sure he's not using it in this chapter because that would just be too broken. He just rewinds everyone back to nothingness, or as Overhaul implied, that you can just turn somebody back to an ape or something. Real quick guys, GamerSupps has two new flavors. This one's emotional damage, and it's in collaboration with Stephen He, the guy who made the emotional damage meme, which I'm sure you're familiar with, and it has a strawberry peach flavor, and it's pretty refreshing. This one is Kaho's Guilty Pleasure. It's in collaboration with Kaho Shibuya, and it has like a green tea flavor to it, also very nice. I've been drinking both of these lately, and I've just been enjoying them so much. So if you're interested in getting your own, check out the link in the description, and also use my code BIGZ. Thanks guys. Cut to Washington DC, and we see that General Akbar is talking to the president. He says that they need to take the opportunity to finish off Shigaraki. Outside there are protests and destruction, including a sign that says, "We are all for one." So we're cutting to America suddenly, which is good because I would like to see the international reaction to this, because Shigaraki / All For One is essentially the one above all on Earth right now. And you know, the fate of the world is literally on the line in this battle here. And it makes me wonder, like, why is it just centralized to the Japanese hero? Like, everyone of all countries should all be like ganging up at this point. The president says that America is also in danger, and that the Quirk Research Center said that Shigaraki is invincible, so he imagines that a political conflict will now begin in which the leaders of the first world countries will fight for Tomura's trust. So I guess this also goes back to Aoyama, like, kind of telling us what All For One's ultimate goal was. He wanted to become some kind of like communist overlord or something, where everyone essentially relied on him and his quirks to live a normal life for the most part, but ultimately he would become the demon lord that he always talked about from the manga that he would read when he was a child. And this ultimately means that the countries are kind of aware of that. I mean, he doesn't want to destroy the earth or anything, he just wants to rule it. So it's understandable that first world countries would kind of become sycophants to him. Akbar tries to argue, saying that he won't stop after he starts taking away freedoms, but the president says that they have tried everything they had. When it seems like the discussion is about to end, Akbar shouts, "That monster cannot exist in our future." Akbar shows the picture of Little Star and asks if he understands why she accepted death. It was because she wanted to see today's youth becoming adults, and because it is the role of the adults to support the new generation. So of course, this is actually the last time that we saw this guy, General Agbar, when we were in like the span of chapters with Star and Stripe. And it reminded me that Star and Stripe got really close to just completely killing All for One, like almost immediately. But there was that whole plot armor of their personalities being merged so that her quirk was kind of malfunctioning because of it. But I digress. I wish Star and Stripe was still around. I think she was like a breath of fresh air in the series, to be honest. But there's got to be like another powerful hero in America at least, right? Send them over. Or just send those missiles that you were sending before, the Tiamat missiles. The speech ends by saying that this is why heroes use their powers. The focus shifts to UA and we see Edgeshot. He says that he already has experience in entering people's bodies and that it's too soon to give up. He extends thin parts of his body onto Bakugo's chest. He asks Mirko to hold Shigaraki in the meantime, even if she dies in the process, and says that he will not accept this death and that they cannot let this stopped heart lead to the end of a life. He will make up for the parts that were lost. As Genus understands what that means and says that he will not be able to come back, Edgeshot responds with, "I know, so I'll leave the rest to you, Class President Hakamata." We see a picture showing the two of them as students. So this is what I was talking about. Here is the way that Bakugo is going to come back to life. It's not necessarily just Best Genus that was going to do some kind of crazy quirkery and repair it that way. It's actually Edgeshot that is going to sacrifice himself. Because apparently Edgeshot can do more than just turn himself really thin. In this chapter, we see him like spaghettifying himself or something and like merging into Bakugo's chest. Like as he says here, he's quite literally going to become Bakugo's heart. And also we're getting a little backstory on Edgeshot and Best Genus as well. They were apparently in the same class together and Best Genus was the class president at that time. The final double page spread shows Edgeshot's full face. He says that he will become the heart of Bakugo and prepares to use his supreme ninpo. End of chapter. So we did it. We did it, guys. Bakugo's coming back, which it's like, I'm really relieved because it's been quite the emotional roller coaster these last couple of weeks with the fandom. Some people really caring, some people not so much, and then some people really hoping that Bakugo would stay dead, of course. But it looks like we came out on top, or we are going to, at least I hope so. I mean, it's at the expense of Edgeshot, but I think we can lose him. You know, he is cool. I don't want him to die, but if it's ultimately to save Bakugo, then you know, we gotta make a trade. But of course, I will salute to Edgeshot. Thank you for your service. But yeah, Bakugo's coming back, and I'm just very pleased with this turn of events. And when he comes back, I'm assuming he's going to go on a rampage or something like that, because he discovered like a new aspect of his quirk that essentially made him similar to like using full cowling. But we'll see what happens. I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, but even though I kind of already have, but it's whatever. Bakugo's coming back, guys. Let me know what you think about this chapter in the comments, and if you liked the video, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.